Alrighty, welcome everyone. This is VR Jungle Havoc Podcast. I'm your host as always, Gerald C. This is our second run doing this because obviously my Wi-Fi just likes to crash when I'm in bad storms. But today I have Timber, who is an upcoming, pretty much. I don't know if you guys have been around longer than a lot of people have actually have known because I've seen you guys around since the year that I've been here. It's called Nepa, and they actually have events going on right now. So we might not run this as long, just so we can get people, if they want to watch this and get back to that, we'll do that. But from here, Timber, you want to say more about yourself and the organization?
Yeah, sure. So I'm the founder of National Esport Professional Association, and it is really designed to capture the VR sport emerging market that's happening. And no doubt about it, Echo Arena is really the first VR sport we think that actually hit the market that represents or is at least closely related to traditional sports. So we started, this has been almost a year in the making. We didn't launch our first pro team until I want to say April, and that was the Florida Laser Sharks. And so we kind of started with four. We added one more, and they competed in VRML, just so that we could kind of get out there and kind of see what the response was. And the response has been fantastic. And tonight we've got the New York Kings playing in the finals, which we're obviously excited about.
Yeah. So how long has that been going on to get to this point with the finals happening now?
So the VRML season, I think, has been going, geez, almost 3 months now.
Yeah.
So the Kings and the Austin Burners and Raptors, um, they were all pretty much set up in there to compete towards the final level or get into the finals. Austin last night played Ignite, took them to overtime in round 3, and what a fun game to.
Yeah, for sure. So where can most people watch these at? Is there a designated Twitch? Do you guys push it to YouTube? Where can people catch all these matches at and like upcoming stuff for it?
Yeah, so for the Nepa Pro Series, which is different than VRML.
Yeah.
So our Pro Series is on Twitch at Watch VRSN. So that's where the majority of our broadcast is. We also, we have other programs as well that's on our website at nepavrpro.com, where we can catch like a late night with Ivan Thrive show, which is kind of cool, and some upcoming programming as well.
Yeah.
But where the series will be on Twitch.
And I know Ivan pretty well. He was actually underneath my organization Havoc for a little bit, and he had his team, and then he had his show, and I think he picked more of doing the show stuff more than playing competitively because it takes a lot of time to do those shows. And I've seen his show, and it's pretty good. Last one I saw was when he had a lot of the captains that were circling around them, basically talking about how everything's going to be working out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
he does really good job.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. But I was also listening to something that your team is the Laser Sharks, right?
That is my personal team.
Yeah, that's
yes.
what I thought it was. So do you manage it or do you play on it? Like, how does that work out there?
No, I own that team, so all I do is pay the expenses. So all of our owners, we have no player owners at all. They all, like I say, they for the most part take care of the expenses. Even in the draft, the first round draft picks that came through, those players for the most part would probably be most considered the team managers, if you will.
Yeah.
But I play Echo Arena. There in this lifetime, I will never play Echo Arena at a level that our pros play at. So
yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think Echo Arena was one of my very first games I played when I got VR. And it was definitely an experience that got me like kind of the wow factor of like this is pretty crazy that this is what VR is. But then when I actually brought in a team underneath the Havoc organization, I played with them, and I'm just like, okay, this is a different level than I was expecting. I thought I can just go in there, start throwing a disc around. No, these people are literally swirling themselves around so fast and flinging that thing quicker than I've ever seen anyone do before. And not only that, but I'm just like, man, I really don't see the team dynamics that happen here until I started playing with people that have been playing for so long, and how they actually pass with to each other is very interesting. And I'm just like, okay, like that takes a high level of like just cognitive ability of understanding how to catch it and how to fling it and where your people are going to be at. So I definitely agree with you with it being a great VR sport to do, make this strive properly.
Right. No, it is amazing. I jump in sometimes just to spectate, and just the communication alone is, you know, um, I mean, I'd say I mean, they're obviously very good at it, but their ability to communicate not just what's coming up next, but what's coming up right after that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they are well ahead of the game. So, and it's happening fast. So it's neat. It's fun.
Yeah, and so I was also just this going through Twitter earlier today, and so what's up with these AAA teams I'm seeing come through?
Yeah. So we started with, when we launched our pro series, we decided to limit it to 12 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, part of that, some of that is financial, right? So we're putting in roughly, well, we don't have to, you can do the math based on what everybody's making. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not that. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but you're talking in the 30, 40s, almost 50,000. And we wanted to make sure that what we did made financial sense because we have investors, and we want to make sure that we grow in a way that the sport is ready for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Echo Arena is small. There's no doubt about it,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be small for long.
Mm-hmm.
So limiting to 12 teams meant that we had to limit to 60 pro players that we were going to draft. And it did not take long when we started to look at the number of players and the specific players out there that there were quite a few that deserved to play pro, that probably should be playing pro,
Mm-hmm.
that were not going to get drafted. And we wanted both to be able to capture those players, but as well, playing at that level is not easy and not everybody can do it.
Yeah, I agree
Uh,
with that. Yeah.
so we had to have a system to where we knew that we had players that were ready to fill in because we have this thing at Nepa is, you got to be good for the game. You can't be toxic.
Exactly.
You got to be good for the team,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you got to show up. You got to play like a team member, and then you have to be good at the game. So for the most part, the 60 players that we have drafted, we've all talked with every one of them. They all understand kind of the way that we approach things, and they all agree, and we're moving forward. And then in the AAA, we get a chance to make sure that we get to reinforce that, and that we know when players that we pull up to
Mm-hmm.
the leagues, we know that they kind of get the NEPA style, if you will.
Yeah, and so is it kind of the way how baseball works with their AA, AAA system? Is there one main overhead franchise that is the pro team and also has trickling smaller AA, AAA teams that say, hey, I want to put maybe a potential Echo player in this, but just know at any point in time I can call him up to the big leagues if he starts, being a phenomenal player. Is that how that works out, or is it just every year, every season, you have like a new draft? Like, hey, here's everyone that played in the AAA. Here's a roster of all these people that we think can become pro.
Yeah, so both, to be honest with you. The Pro Series hasn't kicked off quite yet, so we'll see what happens when these teams start playing. But yes, it is possible that players could be given the option to move to the minors,
Mm-hmm.
because there may be somebody that is playing in the AAA that probably deserves to be playing at the major level. So it's a very similar system to Major League Baseball when it comes to that. We don't plan on staying at 12 teams.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I can tell you right now, we're definitely not staying at 12 teams coming up this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, as it is now, the majority of your AAA players that are there will probably, some of them will filter on up into the majors as we start to do. We will do an expansion draft, but in general, the 12 teams you see now are going to be relatively intact when we do that. But that's a little ways down the road.
Yeah, and so I'm guessing that there's also going to be trades and all that fun stuff that we'll be swapping. I'm very interested on how the trades are going to work because for the teams that I've owned so far and in the series of games that I'm in, sometimes it's just not about trading someone that you think is really good. Like you could bring one of the best players in if they don't jive well with your team. It could really ruin the team just because the dynamics isn't working well. So I'm very interested on how gaming is going to allow that to happen because when it comes to football, basketball, or soccer, it's usually there's so many more factors than just what is it, three, like four players, if you know, right, four players,
5.
five. So yeah, you got five players on there, which is really interesting. Like what's the roster? Is it gonna be like 10 people, or is it like five and like two subs, or is it 5 and 5 for five subs?
Yeah, so right now each pro team has a roster of 5.
Just five.
No, just 5. Now, again, as this grows quite a bit bigger, I think you'll see more rostered starters and some subs in there. That is a much larger roster. Think NFL, if you will. But we're kind of a ways from that right now. But you know, trades will happen just like you would see it. We're going to set a trade deadline to where, you know, we can't trade for stacked teams, you know. But, you know, in general, I can see right now that that would be the driving factor for trades in the first Pro Series, is if there's just a team that's just not jiving well together, and an owner wants to make a trade based on some, you know, some information that they've got, that I could see that happening. We want the players to have a good time too. Now it is competitive, it is professional, but we do want them to have a good time. But now, as this grows and salary caps start getting much larger, then, you know, many years down the road, I absolutely can see where we're trading for the next first round draft picks. We're trading to get underneath salary caps, and, you know, like I see all that happen in the future.
Yeah, and so you will eventually have to where if you do so good within that season that you have a potential being a first round pick, you know, team that will pick first. And just like the NFL, where you can get rid of your first round draft pick for like the next, you know, for so many set people, you know, I've seen that a lot as well.
Right.
And so how did this draft work? It was more of just like, hey, you got the group of owners together, here's a list, and just kind of fantasy football kind of picked a type of deal.
So this draft was, so yeah, I guess in a way it was somewhat like fantasy football. We had some pretty long time players and people that we trusted inside of that have been original gamers, and even some they're not original, but they're well known within the game. And they, you know, did some rank ordering and assigned some points. So there was, you know, a certain amount of points that you had per round. But the way it worked is all the owners got together a couple of weeks prior to the draft, or about a couple of weeks prior to the draft. And we, no kidding, old school, put every team's name in a hat.
Really?
And drew out first round draft picks.
Yeah. I mean, really, for the first one, you know, that's probably the safest route to go, just so no animosity happens or any type of issues at the get-go happen. So you said you keep on adding more. You're going to plan on adding more teams. So will you have eventually things out there for people that want to invest and have a team like out in your website? Say, hey, like we're at 12, but next summer we plan on going from 12 to 20. So this is what you need to do. Here's your form. Fill out, you know, your credentials and stuff. And then obviously one of the biggest thing, you would also probably not want to be a player either, because you'd be doing so much as just the sole manager of it as well.
Right. Yeah. So we will have franchise applications that are on the website. You know, and to be honest with you, we hold, so there, you know, a lot of people see the future of Echo Arena coming. And there's, so we probably, we had more investors than we had teams. So as much as I want the players to be good for the game and good for the team, the owners have to be good for the game and good for the team too. And so we were very, or at least I initially was very critical on, you know, who we brought in as investors and owners. And as the original owners came in, and they also helped make sure that we had the right people that came in. So, and that will not change. So we will have franchise applications. There's, you know, it's a corporation. So there's, you know, kind of the standard stuff with that, boring stuff.
Yeah. And so every team, are they just an umbrella off of your organization company name then?
They are right now, yes.
So they don't have to be considered their own company, LLC, and then form with you? Okay. Yeah, and then so is there a salary now for these players that are in this? Yeah. Are you allowed to share like what an average player would make?
No, we posted it. I mean, they're corporate strategies. I'm not going to be totally transparent about,
Yeah,
but
no, yeah,
but those things we want to be absolutely transparent because it'd be silly not to. I mean, the word's going to get out,
hmm
but um, we would not allow anything to be not uniform. So for the 9 week season, the first round draft picks get paid $1,000 for that series.
hmm
Second round draft picks make $850. Third round draft picks make $650. Fifth round make 500, or sorry, fourth round make 500, and fifth round make 350.
yeah,
And the way we kind of structured that is we looked at all the prize pools
hmm
that were out there and was like, what does one single player in Echo Arena, what would pretty much mean that they won one of the biggest tournaments out there?
yeah,
One big payout
hmm
at $350 for a fifth down round draft pick pretty much exceeded that. So we were
yeah.
so I was happy.
So I get, yeah, that's pretty cool that it's out there and it's structured like that. And I know probably it will evolve more because just because someone got the number 1 draft pick, they're probably not picking the number 1 goalie. They're probably picking the number 1 striker or that's probably what they're going for. So it'd be interesting when it comes to when people will start going for specific locations in the field that they need to be good at, like a goalie, for instance. Like I think so many people would pass an actual legit goalie to be a first round draft pick.
Yeah, potentially. And I know that there were quite a few, from what I understand, because the way that draft worked is it was semi complicated once we got to the second round. But you had your draft captains, and the draft captains were kind of the first round draft picks,
Mm-hmm.
and they started to fill in the rest of the teams.
Yeah.
And there were some very talented strikers that either went late in rounds or didn't go at all because they were trying to find goalies.
Yeah.
Uh, so that did play a factor.
Mm-hmm.
The other unique thing that happened in the draft was that we had the 5 teams, right? The Los Angeles Destroyers, and Laser Sharks, the Burners,
Mm-hmm.
Raptors, Kings. All of those owners, every one of them developed a personal relationship with every player that they had on their team. I mean, they really were engaged.
Yeah.
And the players did not like the fact that we were splitting them up, understandably. And the owners did not like the fact that we were splitting them up.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine the New York Kings owner when I tell him that one of the superpower teams in the world is going to have to break up? I mean,
Yeah.
it was so bad. I was like, I'll give you your money back. But no, I'm kidding. No, but he understood it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, definitely. I could definitely see that. You got invested in this thing, and you have a powerhouse team. Then all of a sudden, you're just like, well, if we want this to work out and be interesting, we have to start it fresh as an actual draft instead of here's the teams that are already established. Because once it becomes established, what's going to happen again next year when a draft happens and you want to bring it, then it's going to happen. It was going to happen eventually. And so
right.
why not do it from the get go? And I totally understand that. And I could definitely see how upsetting that is too. So when these players come in, are they signing contracts like saying if you don't make certain things, like you have to elude so much of your money back? Do they get paid from the very beginning, or is them succeeding their contract to finish out the season, then they get their money? How does that work?
Yeah. So the way that we structure it, because it's 1099, again, some of that stuff's kind of boring, but the way we structure it is we basically pay per game, right? So we take that money, we divide it by 9,
Mm-hmm.
and then every three weeks they are paid for 3 games that they play.
Off the percentage of what they got picked for that round, right?
Right. Well, I mean, it's 9, whatever it is, $1,000 divided by 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every week they're making every game, not every week, it's only 1 game a week, but every week they make that money, right? We just pay it out every 3 weeks because otherwise it's a accounting nightmare.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, because I know like not having any subs, just 5 players, like man, it's just like life things happen, and so I could really see that. Is there any time like if they say like someone's wife or someone's having like a child, they're like I just can't make it, like I'm gonna be out for a hot minute. Are they allowed to bring someone from a AAA team out of nowhere and just be like, hey, well, this is just a fill-in, or do they have to forfeit?
Well, they're not gonna forfeit. So the men is 4 people on a team. So we hope that that doesn't happen out of 5 players, that 2 of them can't make it, because the schedule is already released.
Mm-hmm.
So they know exactly what day, that they're playing for the next 9 weeks.
Yeah.
But I mean, life events like that, I mean, you're going to have those.
Yeah, for sure.
In general, what we anticipate is that takes a team down to 4, and they don't have that 5th sub, because we have a unique format that allows the sub to come in after every play.
Mm-hmm.
But that they have to play as 4. We could see that happening. If it fell down to 3, then we would have to cross the bridge of looking at the AAA to see who is ready to come up.
Yeah, and that'd be kind of a gray area, because it's like you came back up here, but then it's only one game, you got to go back down.
And that happens in Major League Baseball all the time. I mean, do you remember, what was it, the Texas Rangers that were beating on the trash can? I don't know if you were tracking that. They were cheating.
No.
Okay, not long story short, but so it's a Major League Baseball, right? So, and what they're stealing signs from the catcher,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they know what the pitcher's going to throw.
Okay.
Well, like I say, it was the Rangers, but so this guy gets called up from AAA for the first time. He's got a 2-year-old and a pregnant wife. Finally gets called up to the big show to go pitch. Pitches against the Rangers. They knock him out by the 4th inning. He doesn't get to go back.
Oh,
and they were cheating. So I can totally understand about getting called up, and that would be emotional.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and this is just gonna get bigger. And like, so, in your opinion, like, and I know, just I can voice how I feel about it. But do you think right now you're probably the most structured league or organization within VR now? Because I have not seen anything as well put together as what you have put together right now, with the teams, the contracts, and actually pushing towards things. A lot of times it's just all talk. I've seen like VRML do so much, and they're just an ongoing league. But then you went above and beyond and said, no, let's go ahead and make regional teams, and let's actually make, like an NFL or like the NBA out of this. So do you think obviously the ceiling, there is no ceiling yet, so it's just up from here. Do you think anyone else like you have somewhat accomplished what you've done so far?
Oh, I think so. And when then we put out a great video or Twitter, whatever those are. But he put comparing Nepa and VRML. But I would say that what we did isn't necessarily better, is just different. To be able to manage 5 teams, or to be able to manage 12 teams, versus where VRML is managing 400 or however many they've got.
Yeah.
And I would say in some ways what we do is a little bit easier, because it is structured. We have contracts. We have, a limited number of teams. I have, a limited number of headaches when it comes to it.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, it's, and we do listen to our players for sure. We try to listen to the community. But in general, it is, hey, this is how we're playing.
Yeah.
Right. We're somebody like VRML or VR Party League, or those community leagues that are out there. They are designed to be able to give anybody that wants to play a competitive experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is not hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, that is not easy. And I know I was in discussions early on when we came into the scene a little bit, where VRML didn't really know what we were doing, which understandably so. But I was like, I can promise you, I want nothing to do with what you guys have to deal with, because they have volunteers.
Yeah.
And what they're able to accomplish, both a lot of the big leagues, the Collegiate League, the VR Party League, VRML, what they've been able to accomplish is nothing short of truly amazing, with all volunteers and the number of people they have in that. I'm highly impressed with all of those leagues.
Yeah, because they're just not in Echo. There's not a VR game that doesn't have competitive play that they're not in. But so, like, for you though, are you only strictly going to be Echo from here on out, or do you have any expanding of any type of game that might be considered worthy of picking up and taking the same route that you're doing now? Like, almost like, since you guys are going more towards the sport route, as since Echo is like almost like a fast-paced hockey in space type of deal. So you wouldn't pick any up, like any first-person shooter type deal, would you? Or would you have to wait for another sport game to come out?
Yeah, unfortunately we would. And there's a reason that that is, I mean, we're not biased to anything, but our market and our niche is definitely inside of the VR sport. Not really the VR gaming. There's, that's, first of all, that's relatively crowded market to begin with, but it truly is about appeal too. So with VR Sports Network, we want to be able to broadcast things that the average sport fan can sit down and go, that's my team. And right now, a lot of like your first person shooters and things like that, it's like, that's my player, if you will, I guess, like I'm not a big watcher of that. But absolutely, as much as we are, eyeing players that are playing inside of VRML to see who's going to be our next AAA players, we are also looking at other, games that could potentially be qualified as a sport. And just saying it's a sport, like there's a VR football game out there.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Seems fun to play. I haven't played it yet, but I don't think it would be very fun to watch. And that's, to be honest, that's kind of how this all started, was really on the, how entertaining it was to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always good when a game puts out those type of third aspect, like view, to actually follow the game. And a lot of things, when VR games come out and they have a push competitive, they miss that, to where if you don't give us tools to watch the game, then you're not going to get anything competitive-wise that's going to work out well. And so I've watched a couple of the games, and the shoutcasters that are watching it, they do a really good job following through the player and seeing each goal happen. Like, they do a really good job without having really small, minimal production skills whatsoever, because all you have to do is put your headset on, make sure you're casting, and follow around, and you just pretty much just be an announcer. And so I'm really interested on how that's going to evolve. Maybe have some type of AI that can float around and have people more pushed out of the screen and don't have to have a headset on. I would like to see that happen, but that's all speculations if the future stuff comes out properly.
Well, I think the way I understand, so the in-game camera, I know that does exist in general. From what I understand, it's an API with access to cameras. So they are actually working at it from like behind a computer, not necessarily in a headset. I will say, and it's something I can't necessarily get into right now, but over the next couple of weeks, some of the announcements that are going to come out as far as the ability to view and what you'll be able to view are going to be amazing. I mean, I deal with classified stuff all the time, and this is just one I want to spill as fast as I can. I mean, it's just utterly amazing.
Yeah.
And you partner that with, we brought on, because broadcasting matters.
Exactly. Yeah, especially for this. Like, in order for you to be successful, you have to broadcast it perfectly. Because if you lose interest of your viewers, then why are they going to come for the next one?
Exactly. And part of it is both production quality and as well as the game. And I'll tell you, that's kind of how, when I first played Echo, I'm not a gamer by any stretch. VR was, my son wanted a VR headset, and I looked at it and I was like, well, this is kind of cool. So I just bought one, and then he was like, Dad, you got to play this Echo Arena game. But I played it, I was like, sport, but it was like there was something I was missing, like it was like it was definitely a sport, but I can't. And it was when I believe it was VR Party League was doing like a country cup inside of their league with the EU, and I was watching it on television because I like watching it, and it was UK versus Spain, and my wife is from Spain, so she walks into our living room and she's like, what is this, right? So I'm trying to explain it to her. And I can tell you, I was in Spain when Spain won the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, and that was, it was an experience.
I bet.
I'm telling you, man, within 6 minutes of watching Echo Arena, I have a Spanish wife that is yelling at the TV on why Spain doesn't have a goalie. Why are they missing that pass? And I go, that's what I've been missing. It's not a sport. This is a spectator sport. And so back to the broadcast thing, we took it very seriously. We were lucky, very, very lucky. We just brought on, just over a month ago, maybe not quite, Nick Thompson, who's the director for Bally Sports Midwest, ESPN.
Awesome.
And Brian Shapiro, who's the senior producer for both of those organizations. So to say that we think broadcasting is important, there's no doubt about it,
Yeah.
because we've brought powerhouses to get it
Oh yeah,
ready.
those are some big names, and they also have connections with ESPN. And you know, I know ESPN's all over the place when it comes to like Instagram and having like the top plays. It'd be really cool to have type of a spiel of because I know ESPN does have an area for esports where they
Mhm.
show the top plays of either in VR playing like Pavlov or Onward or just playing Call of Duty. And it'd be pretty cool
Right.
to see like a top 10 play or top 5 play of like once every week or every month of what's going on within your organization. Like that'd be pretty cool. It'd be big kudos for the actual players that were part of that, making those big plays as well and really making a name for themselves. Uh,
Well, we're thinking bigger. We're actually thinking that it won't be too long, and we hope within the calendar year of 22 that we're not just going to have a couple of plays on one of the major networks. We're going to be playing games on
that'd be
there to
awesome.
include the series and maybe even our championships and those kind of things. That is what we are working towards.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I would love to see that just because not only just be good for Echo, but when I look at what I do, I could, you know, I have all these players in all these games, and so I'm a whole VR person. So anything that strives VR to be bigger in general is what I like to see. So what you're doing is just going to create this huge domino effect, and so it's really great things. And I know we're coming up pretty close, and I don't want to keep you too long because I know you did say there's something going on right now with the finals, right?
Yeah, VRML finals. Yeah, sure.
Exactly. So it's going on right now, and I did want to talk to you about one last thing before you got off, which was the charity event coming up in St. Louis. Just kind of wanted to go over that really quick because I know you know charity's always very important, and I wanted to see like maybe to get links to where people can get tickets. If it's just your website, then I'll put it on there. But basically, can you just say like what the charity's about? What do you guys plan on doing within the charity? And it's at Busch Stadium too, right?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so on our website, we've got a charity cup tab that you can go to and kind of get, more information. You can sign up for it. We have 3 partner hotels, one that should go up next week. St. Louis has been fantastic working with us. Our partner hotels, not only are they giving, they're blocking rooms, but they're kicking back money back to the Special Olympics for every room that stayed in. So people are getting special rates on rooms, and the charity is getting taken care of too. And those are Westin, the Hyatt Regency, and Hilton. So we're happy about that. But the charity event is something that I don't know that we would be doing the Pro Series 1 or even the Pro Series 2 that's coming up in the summer if we weren't going to do a charity LAN event.
Mm-hmm.
And because, like you said, it's getting bigger. And the Special Olympics has an esport division. And to not include VR and not include Echo Arena
Mm-hmm.
in the Special Olympics would be a crime, right? And so if
For
we can
sure.
raise money to get the first electronic sport into the Special Olympics, then we're absolutely going to do that.
Yeah,
Uh,
that'd be awesome.
so,
So,
and then, sorry, go ahead.
so is the event just the Special Olympics, and you're helping fund some of what's going on there, or are you guys actually the event is for you guys, like how it is specifically for you guys?
Yeah, this is the NEPA Annual Charity Cup.
Okay,
And
first
then
one.
we are the first one. And so the in our charity of choice this year, and I anticipate there'll probably be a longer term relationship, is the Special Olympics and their esport divisions.
Mm-hmm.
We've been working closely with the Illinois Special Olympics, and obviously the Missouri St. Louis area Special Olympics, but multiple Special Olympics around to be able to support their different organizations. So, but and that's a good thing, right? So, I mean, hopefully we can get some headsets and things like that into those
Yeah.
areas, which is great. But the charity event itself, sure, we raise some awareness, we may raise some money, that's all great, but it's really about the LAN event too.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really want to profit off of a LAN event, because the things that I care about are the player experience and the charity.
Yeah, for sure.
Now we've been able to expand that to be about the player experience, the sponsor experience, and the spectator experience. I mean, people are so fired up about this. We've got we're giving away free spectator tickets. Anybody can come in and watch this thing because we think that's good.
Awesome.
We just got $25,000 worth of local advertising donated to us so that we can increase the awareness of the local area inside of St. Louis to bring them in. One of the things though that I do want to I have seen because it's a Nepa annual or a Nepa LAN event, it seems like that may imply that only pro teams can play, and that is farthest from the truth. And if you don't mind, I'd like to talk to the format so that your viewers can understand exactly what we're doing for our LAN event. So that there is some truth. We are going to have a professional bracket. So we have 12 teams, and there's going to be 4 open wildcard spots. And that bracket will start in the afternoon of Saturday.
Okay.
And so, yes, that'll be the pro bracket with 4 wildcard teams, and they're going to be playing for kind of the center championship, if you will. Friday night after opening ceremonies and Saturday morning, we're going to have open brackets to where teams will compete, and then at the end of Saturday, the top 4 teams will go into those wildcard spots.
Awesome.
The ones that don't make it into the wildcard spots, we're going to have separate brackets running simultaneously with the pro brackets, because our intent is to give every player a minimum of 4 games to play. We're going to have challenge match areas, so this should be quite the experience for the player.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
You don't have to be a pro to go.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And do the people have to bring their own headsets, or they can be provided? How's that going to work out?
They do have to bring their own headsets.
Okay.
So and I will say it is going to be a Quest event.
Yeah, it's going to be because you have to in order for people to be there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I know, so I'm in Illinois basically, and I hope, if not, I'll try and maybe talk to the company that I work for. But I work for Ameren, Illinois, and they do a lot of things within Busch Stadium and a lot of things around there. So I'd be surprised if they weren't going to help out with this in some way, or get kickback to help more things be developed within it as well.
Would love it.
Yeah, so I'll definitely reach out to someone I can and talk to him about it as well, since I can even go there as a person wearing an Ameren shirt and try and talk about basically what's going on in St. Louis, because the cool thing that we do there, we're a utility company, and by I think 2025, 2030, all of St. Louis will be green. What do you call it? Green electric, to where we're gonna have solar panels on the top of buildings. We're going to be putting in a whole bunch of greenhouses, and so basically, I think the only time we're ever going to have actual a gas or an actual electric grid going through is for backups. But other than that, it's going to be clean air.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But I really enjoyed having you on. I think we can pretty much end it right here. I really hope great success for you. I know that so far, everything you've done so far, and the charities that you're saying that you're plan on put together. This shows that you're doing it the right way, because I know a lot of people just get greedy. They say, hey, I just want money. And I see a lot of organizations and a lot of team owners just go under because that's all that's on their mind is money. And really, if you're doing something big for this, it's about community and show that you're a good person. Usually good people, strong leaders will have a huge following. And so I hope great success for you.
Well, I really appreciate that, and I do hope that we can prove to be that to be true, because we do have good people inside of the organization, and we're supporting a fantastic community and a fantastic game. And as much that we can do, as long as we can do it to move it forward, we will absolutely do it. But I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate you taking the time too.
Oh, not a problem. Really enjoyed we had this, and hopefully everyone that's watching this right now, leave right now and catch the end of what's going on for the finals right now. I guarantee it's going to be great broadcasting. Everything I've seen is always phenomenal. So everyone, this is VR Jungle Havoc Podcast, and have a good rest of your week.
See you guys.